Hey guys, how's it going? It's Al. Monday night is usually a showdown night, but this week there are two Monday night football games. We have New Orleans versus Carolina and Cleveland versus Pittsburgh. Neither of them has a total above 40 points. And so the showdowns are really small. What we have is a special two-game slate. We have a $2.25 million millionaire maker. It's probably going to be a split first prize, but with two games, there's more chances that it won't be. It's straight up classic, not showdown. There are showdown games to be played if that's the way that you want to play this slate, but I'm going to focus on building a lineup for the main slate. So thank you guys for being here. If you are not already, become a channel member by clicking the join button. It's right down below. If you can't find it, go to smizzle.tv/join. Every Friday, my cheat sheet comes out in our Discord. You can become a member of the Discord by going to smizzle.tv/discord. Both very simple. Everything's in the link tree. Guess what the link to that is? smizzle.tv/links. If you're a channel member here on YouTube or a subscriber on Twitch, you get access to that cheat sheet, which is locked behind your membership here on YouTube or your subscription on Twitch. $5 a month gets you access to that. Comes out every single Friday. We'll go over it in case you wanted to see what it was looked like the first couple of weeks. On the recap video on the Al Smizzle Fantasy Football channel, week one was up last week. Monday morning, live on Twitch, we record the week two recap. So let me know how you did down in the replies. Drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the notifications bell, and let's go.
He's a legend.
As I said, very straightforward and simple, a $2.25 million contest for this one. Let's go team by team. Because there's only four of them, so I can kind of break down most of the skill position plays for you. Derek Carr, 6,000 on this slate. I am going to correlate heavily. I'm going to try to avoid playing my quarterback against their own defense, but you're going to end up with players against the defense any way that you cut it. We saw him throw for 305 yards. He does have a highly complimentary receiving core. Like if we look at what they've got Olave, who operates really well down the field, as well as being a fantastic route runner in the short and intermediate realm. 10 targets last week, 8 catches, 112 yards. Michael Thomas is back, 5 catches on 8 targets last week. Rashid Shaheed is a fantastic complement to the two of them, allowing a third wide receiver against the nickelback to be able to get deep, as well as punt returns, kick returns. Yeah, if you pair him with the Saints defense and he is on a kick return, brings one back, you get to double dip there. You get the points for Shaheed for scoring a touchdown, as well as the DST scoring the touchdown. And then at tight end, Juwan Johnson's the main pass catching tight end, and then they have the Swiss Army knife, Taysom Hill, who did get 3 rushing attempts last week, can still and will still come in short yardage packages every now and again to vulture your rushing touchdowns, to vulture your Derek Carr touchdowns, and to vulture touchdowns from Jamal Williams, who has the best mugshot of all time on DraftKings. Looking over at the other side of the ball, Bryce Young. Rookie quarterbacks are going to have ups and downs. He does look like he is going to be a talented pro, but it may be something that has to develop, partially because he doesn't have that fantastic a wide receiver room. He is smallish. He is on the smaller side for quarterbacks, so he needs to create things. Never a problem for him at Alabama, but a lot of things aren't problems for a lot of people at Alabama, though I give him credit for being a very, 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 very talented quarterback prospect. This team does not have all that much around him. At running back, Miles Sanders going to get the nod and the majority of the work. 24 opportunities in week one. Chuba Hubbard, though, going to play a little bit. He got 11 opportunities, 2 targets, 9 carries in week one. On the outside, we don't know about DJ Chark. Monitor things before the game gets here on Monday night. We don't know if he's a go or if he's not a go. You'll know 90 minutes before lock, which is really what you need. That's the great thing about NFL football, is that actives and inactives have to be announced. So at least we'll have that. We have an idea of where the ball should go, and to me that's Jonathan Mingo, the guy with the most juice in the wide receiver room. The person who led them in routes and targets and everything else last week was Hayden Hurst, collecting 7 targets, catching 5 of them, but not much downfield burst for him. He's more of a floor-ish type player. He's going to give you a solid floor, good targets at the tight end spot. Thielen may be cooked at this point. He gave us a lot of great years, but at this point, he might have a spike week here or there, but it's going to be unpredictable when that comes. Terrace Marshall is getting a lot of run and is running a lot of routes and is garnering targets, and targets are earned. And the other one is Laviska with 2 targets last week in that game that they played in week 1. For Cleveland, things this other game gets really sloppy. One, Amari Cooper is probably going to miss this game, according to Adam Schefter on Fantasy Football Now. If you watch that show I say this morning because I'm recording this on Sunday. If you watched that show before NFL kickoff, you saw Adam Schefter report that not only is he questionable, but he is not going to play, right? He is unlikely that he's going to go. He had a practice mishap on Saturday. Does not look like he's going to play, which is going to bump up already a solid market share of targets for Elijah Moore. He's going to be a little bit more solidified. Donovan Peoples-Jones, the outside has a fantastic matchup, right? The outside wide receivers have a fantastic matchup against Pittsburgh, who got completely shell-shocked in week 1 on the outside. Goodwin will be a downfield threat, but nothing more. You're hoping to catch lightning in a bottle with him. And David Njoku should see more targets than 3 with Amari Cooper out, as they will have to lean a little bit more on him. Harrison Bryant did vulture a touchdown away in week 1 from both Nick Chubb, who I think is the best play on this team, getting 4 targets in week 1. That's the thing that we have to monitor. There were reports all through preseason that the Cleveland passing game really did not look all that good, but the running game did look extremely good throughout the preseason. So monitoring this situation, if Nick Chubb continues to get 18 plus carries and let's say 3 targets a game, his value is going to far exceed what his ADP was, and 8,500 on a 2-game slate is fine because we can find enough value to get him in there. But once he gets back to main slates, he could absolutely smash all season long. For this slate particularly, I think that he's kind of a must roster. He's somebody that we have to put into this lineup. I'm going to plug him in. Let's put him in the flex spot just because they are the later kickoff, and I'm going to have to get a couple of other guys in there. At quarterback, Deshaun Watson. I kind of feel like he's the highest ceiling quarterback on this slate between Carr and Young, and on the other side, his counterpart, Kenny Pickett. Pickett looked really solid in preseason, looked not great in week 1. They faced, tough opposition with San Francisco, one of the best defenses in the league. Threw the ball 46 times, completed 31 passes, but for 232 yards. More of the same from what we saw last year. But San Francisco's the Russian judge, right? We don't have to hang our hats. One thing, we don't want to fall to anchor bias. We don't want to make decisions based on 1 week. Look how that worked out with everybody who was completely writing off Christian Kirk for the entire season. Then he had a monster game here in week 2. I'm not saying Kenny Pickett is going to continue to have to throw the ball short down the field, not be able to attack, but he is going to be without his most reliable target in Deontay Johnson. Got 6 targets last week before the injury. He is also out. The 2 wide receivers that are out of this game are going to affect a lot of different things. After he left that game, Allen Robinson got 7 targets. He is going to weigh heavily. The veteran wide receiver is going to get peppered with targets. Does not do a great job of separating. Definitely not down the field anymore. But they have an offense that's going to be under duress with the tremendous defensive line that the Cleveland Browns do possess. So if you're looking for him at 4,300, I think that is solid. Pickens at 54 is fairly priced. 7 targets last week. Pat Freiermuth at 4,500 does look like one of the best values on the slate. Touchdown upside for him, as well as possibly a greater market share of targets. And at running back, we saw the 50-50 split that we kind of thought was going to be coming in the preseason, with Najee Harris getting 8 touches or 8 opportunities that game, and Jaylen Warren getting 9 opportunities in that game. Warren has been the guy who has been utilized more in the passing game with the starters through preseason. Long down and distance, 3rd down situations, 2-minute drill. He was the one who was on the field and not Najee Harris. They're turning Harris into a 1st and 2nd down back. No matter what he was a couple of years ago when you played him, he's not that guy right now. and Jalen Warren is kind of the pass catching back, cannibalizing both of them. So how are we going to go about building a lineup on this slate? Let's first go take a look at Underdog Fantasy. Let's do that, just so that we can see what some of the props are for this night of games. We have 55 rushing yards possible for Jamal Williams. We have Chris Olave with 5 or more receptions. Michael Thomas, Rashid Shaheed. They have kicker props, defensive props, whatever you want to do. I'm going to go with over 55.5 rushing yards for Jamal Williams. Why am I stumbling over these names today? I don't know. I'm definitely going to take higher than 200 passing yards. I'm going to take higher than 101 combined yards for Nick Chubb. And give me one of these guys. Give me Donovan Peoples-Jones over 31.5 receiving yards. If you do not have an account over at Underdog Fantasy, use promo code ALSMIZZLE, all one word, squished together, ALSMIZZLE, and you can get up to $100 deposit bonus on your first deposit to the site. I'm going to put $50 on this to win $500. We'll click submit. Easy as that. Go use the promo code. Check out all the great products that they have over at Underdog Fantasy today. Let's get back to the lineup. Let's see what we're going to do now. Taking a look at quarterback, I mentioned that I want to go with Watson. I think that there's value in his pass catching group. I do want to play Nick Chubb, so it's going to be kind of an onslaught in this situation. I don't know that I need much out of the other side. Let's isolate to just Cleveland's players. With Cooper expected to be out, I'm going to lock in the value with Moore and Donovan Peoples-Jones. I think that they have the best chance of scoring the most points on the slate. Does Cleveland? Every yard, every catch, and definitely every touchdown is going to matter. At the running back position, I want to stack as much volume as possible at solid values. And while they're the highest priced two options, not named Najee Harris, give me Jamal Williams and give me Miles Sanders for Carolina and stack up 20 to 25 opportunities for both of them, leaving us with a DST. You already know which defense I'm going to use. It's going to be the Browns, leaving us with 5,900. There is more than enough money on the table for this slate to still go with somebody like Freiermuth and then plug in a wide receiver. Oh, look, I have 7,400, the number one wide receiver remaining on the slate. That's my lineup, but let's go over to Fantasy Labs and take a look at how we're going to build them. If you wanted to get a new account at Fantasy Labs and take advantage of the discounted pricing that they have for the Smizz Gang, go to smizzle.tv/labs with an uppercase L. It is case sensitive. Here's all the rules that I set. Yes, I know a couple of them are behind my head. I will read them off to you. I'm going to pair my quarterback with exactly 2 of his wide receiver and tight ends. Or tight ends. I'm going to pair a wide receiver with a running back, wide receiver, or tight end from the other team. That is my bring back and my secondary stacking rules. I'm not going to allow a running back with the quarterback from the same team. I'm going to turn that off because it is a short slate. Limit to at most 1 wide receiver, running back, tight end. I'm going to undo that because it's a short slate, because short slate football is different from main slate or full slate football. And these 2 really are for the Chargers and the Indianapolis Colts, where I set a rule to allow just one guy single stacking quarterbacks. So I'm going to minimize this so that it forces a couple of wide receiver and running back players that are going to be lower held, lower ownership plays. We'll apply those settings. Realize that it's not as easy as just going to the site and clicking generate 150 times and then you just print money. That's not how it works. You're going to have to massage your allocations and all the lineups that you have and the combinations that you want. But I wish you the best of luck this Monday night. Look out for another video right there.